Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We're reading from Srimad Bhagavad-gita, chapter 17, entitled The Divisions of Faith, verse 15. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat swadhyaya abhyasanam cheva vanmayam tapauchyate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Hare Krishna. Purport. One should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students, but such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students, if he will agitate their minds. This is penance as far as talking is concerned. Besides that, one should not talk nonsense. The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society. There is limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this. This is called penance of speech. Hare Krishna. So today we continue our discussion on three kinds of austerities. And yesterday we mentioned that our goal of every one of us and of every living entity is to become happy. Ananda Mayobhyasat. We are beings of happiness. And so whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we say, it's knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, striving to this direction, to be happy. Yes. Even if we do something that we don't like, for example, so many people are having a job that they don't like, but they do it because they are afraid if they lose their job or something they don't like, that it will worsen their situation, that they will suffer even more. So everything we do is in this in mind, that we would like to be happy. We strive in this direction. And therefore we said that the highest pleasure is to develop love, unconditional love. Savepum samparo dharmo yato bhaktira dukshaji. Ahetukya pratihata yatma suprasidati. In order to become suprasidati, not just happy, but perfectly happy, we should develop unconditional love for the Lord. Adokshaji. Ahetuki bhakti. Hetu means cause or some motive, and ahetuki means without any motive. So we don't perform our devotional service for any gain, not even liberation. So this is the key and secret of pure love. And this love should be uninterrupted, apratihata. interrupt our ahetuki bhakti for even 10 minutes, then we cannot be suprasiddhi for at least for these 10 minutes. Yes, so it should be constant in order to become suprasiddhi. Yes, and these penances here that are mentioned are all meant to first understand who we really are. Because one should ask, what does austerity have to do with love? But as we mentioned yesterday, sacrifice for the one who we love is utmost pleasure. Yes. In the story of how Krishna stole the garments of the gopis, it is explained that they were completely humiliated by Krishna. But their love for Krishna increased, not decreased, because he was making fool of them, but love increased. And it is explained by our acharyas that even pain that we receive from the loved one is pleasurable. And it's compared like the bite of a lover. Yes. So, if we establish this relationship with the Lord, even inconveniences in this world, even suffering that we undergo, is pleasurable. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that suffering that he experiences in this material world for the pleasure of serving Krishna is his highest ecstasy. So, and in order to get rid of these material conditionings, it's necessary to understand what is hampering us, what is our obstacle to achieve this. And as I mentioned yesterday in Upadeshamrita, in Nectar of Instruction of Rupa Goswami, these 6 Vegas in the beginning, he mentions in the first verse, these 6 urges of speech, of mind, and anger, and so on, are very powerful in every conditioned living entity. And therefore, if we want to rise on the platform of devotional service, we have to get rid of them. Yes. In fact, we cannot get rid of them. It said that we should tolerate them. They are powerful and they will stay with our body, but we should learn to tolerate them. Yes. So yesterday we mentioned these different urges, pushings of the body, and now today we'll speak a little bit on these urges of the speech. Yes. And what kind of austerity of speech we should have. Anudvega karam vakyam. It's interesting that Krishna, first thing that he mentions is that we shouldn't disturb anyone. Anudvega karam vakyam. Because we are conditioned to fight with words also. Before we fight with the body, we fight with words. Usually it's like this. There is one funny, humorous story in Slovenian literature. There was a judge who took notes of different cases. This was, in reality, he was a judge and he took notice of different cases of fighting. And he's a humorous author. Also, he authored many books, and he humorously described these cases. And he said that the human being is a very educated animal, and before he does anything, he wants to give a program of his action, and he informs everyone around what he's planning to do. And usually, as all the programs are going, he usually promises a little more than he does then later on. And in fighting these promises, these programs are called threats. And for example, I will kill you. This is a program. and he announces this to all surroundings. Yes, so we also fight with the words, and we present our program, what we will do to other people. And this is of course, usually it's disturbing. Many times it's disturbing. And it's not just disturbing that we disturb others by directly disturbing them. But if we speak anything else than something to elevate others, it is also disturbing, isn't it? Because we distract their consciousness and our own consciousness away from the Lord. So if we want to develop this state of suprasidati, of perfect happiness, we should try to transcend this urge to speak nonsense, as Prabhupada here says. Because one disturbance is to disturb others, even with truth. In Mahabharata, it is written in the story when Yudhishthira insulted Arjuna on the battlefield, and Arjuna wanted to kill Yudhishthira. Do you know this story? You didn't hear this story? It's strange, isn't it? That Arjuna wanted to kill. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna took a vow that if anyone would say that he should give his Gandiva, his bow, to anyone more powerful than he is, he will kill him. That this is such a great insult, because he is the best archer in the world. Or give away his Gandiva bow. And it's interesting, in the first chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, he himself gave away this bow. So by his weakness, he's killing himself in the first chapter. So then in the last days of the war, Kurukshetra, there was heavy fight of Yudhishthira against Karna. And Karna defeated Yudhishthira in this battle. And Yudhishthira retreated from the fight and went back to his camp. And then Arjuna was fighting on some other side of the field, of the battlefield, and also Bhima. And then Arjuna came to Bhima and asked, where is Yudhishthira, where is the king? And he said that he retreated in the camp. And then Arjuna wanted to send Bhima to see if Yudhishthira is okay, if he needs any help. And Bhima said that he has to fight with these Kauravas, that he has no time, but that Arjuna should go. And Arjuna was worried about Yudhishthira, and he really went to see Yudhishthira. And when Yudhishthira saw Arjuna, that Arjuna came, he was thrilled of enthusiasm. He was convinced that Arjuna killed Karna. And he glorified Arjuna like anything. How you killed Karna and now we won this war. Pages of glorification. And then when he stopped, Arjuna told him that he didn't kill Karna. That he just came to see if he's all right. And then Yudhishthira became mad because Arjuna didn't kill Karna, and started to blaspheme Arjuna in different ways. Very harsh words one wouldn't expect from Yudhishthira. And he even said that it would be better for Kunti to abort you. Nothing, these promises of gods when you were born were all in vain. They were lying. You're a coward and so on and so forth. And it's better to give your bow Gandiva to someone who is valiant enough to kill Karna. And by this, Arjuna became so angry because of this blasphemy of Yudhishthira that immediately he wanted to kill him. But Krishna, of course, was there, and he said that this vow, we should first know what is the truth, what is beneficial and what is not beneficial. The truth is something that is very difficult to understand. So Krishna is very intelligent. And then he said that you can kill Yudhishthira by not killing him. And because he's your superior, because he's the king, if you are insult the king, it's the same as killing him. So then Arjuna used this harsh speech towards Yudhishthira, and in this way he killed him, because as we see from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is said that this defamation is worse than death for the one who is honored. This dishonor is worse than death. Yes. So And then Arjuna was so devastated because he blasphemed Yudhishthira that he wanted to kill himself. And then Krishna again used his intelligence, and he said, no, you shouldn't kill yourself by some knife or anything like this. You should kill yourself by glorifying yourself. So if we glorify ourselves, it's the same as killing ourselves. Yes. So we can see how powerful the words are. It is described that the words are more powerful than these arrows, because arrows can hurt the body and the body can heal, but the words penetrate deeper than any arrow and wound our heart, and these wounds of heart are much difficult to get healed than the body. Yes. So we should be very careful with the use of our words. And it is explained here by Prabhupada very deep that, of course, the teacher, or for example, a father and mother are also teachers. He should tell clear truth to his disciple or his dependent. But if one is not our disciple or is not our dependent, we shouldn't disturb those people, because there is no beneficial effect. Because he says, Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat. Satyam means truthful, priyam means pleasing, and hitam means beneficial. And beneficial, of course, we as devotees, we know that beneficial is everything that one can help to turn to Krishna. And it is our duty to help them to turn to Krishna, because we are everyone's servant. We should understand this, that we are everyone's servant. Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. We are always the servant of Krishna. So, and Krishna says in 15th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, Mamaivam Shor Jiva Loke Jiva Bhutak Sanatana, that every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. So, if you are Lord's servant, we are servant of every living entity, because every living entity is parcel of Krishna. But of course, we don't serve the conditioned living entities according to their whims, because they're in diseased condition, they're crazy. Like a physician, a doctor, he treats the patient in a way that is beneficial for this patient. If the patient is crazy because of some illness, the doctor doesn't serve this patient according to what this patient desires, but according how to help this patient to become cured of his disease. And so this is also our service. In the same way, we should try to serve every living entity to try to cure them of their disease of Maya. Yes, conditioning to Maya. This is our duty. So if someone is not our dependent, if we just disturb them with our words, we distract them more than connect them to Krishna. We distract them from Krishna instead of connecting them to Krishna. And this is the usual mistake of neophyte devotees who try to preach everyone and everything about Krishna. But they don't consider that their words are disturbing, and even they even turn away from Krishna, the people they talk to. So yes, this is very important to understand, the austerity of speech. And in many communities, even devotee communities, especially because it's Kali Yuga, there is so much quarrel and harsh speech and disturbing one another. And this disturbance, of course, is not how should I improve myself and connect to Krishna, but this disturbance is how can I destroy this opponent. Yes. So we should be very careful to use pleasing words. Yes, and of course this pleasing is not flattering. We should know the difference between pleasing words and flattering. Flattering is lying to just feel that other will feel that he's being glorified by us. This is flattering, and we are speaking lies just to inflate their false ego of the other person. These are not pleasing words or not disturbing words, but these are lies. So we shouldn't lie. But we should speak for the benefit of others, as it is here says, hitam is benefit. We should have this in mind. So there is one good example. Sometimes the body is very diseased, and it cannot absorb the medicine. So we can give the medicine, but it goes just through. Nothing is, absorbs, and so the medicine cannot help because it doesn't get absorbed. So in order the body to be able to absorb the medicine, some expert physician, some expert doctor can give medicine to help absorption first. It's not medicine to cure your disease, but it's medicine that enables the true medicine to get absorbed. So if we see that someone is diseased and the medicine of Krishna consciousness cannot get absorbed, we should give them first such remedy that this person can absorb later on the truth of Krishna consciousness. Because if we just give them the right medicine, it will just go through and will not be beneficial. So it's important to understand, to have this wisdom. So not everyone is qualified to be a teacher. Yes. So we should be trained in this way, not just by some training program, but by our sadhana, our connection with the Lord. This is the most important training, is our sadhana. You should understand this. Therefore, we should really train our consciousness. It is said in different parts of Bhagavad-gita, abhyasa yoga yuktana. For example, in 8th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, when Krishna explains that whatever consciousness we have, yam yam vapismaram bhavanta triyantati klivaram, tam tamaveti kaunta sadat bhava bhavita, that whatever consciousness one has at the time of death, that consciousness he will, at that state of living, that state of being, he will inevitably attain. So there is no miracle, we said, at the time of death. We'll just continue our existence. And then he says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mama nusmara yudhyacha mayarpita manobudir mama veshasya samshaya. And then always think of me. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, that means in all time, mama nusmara yudhyacha. So he instructed Arjuna to fight. But for us, this means that we should perform our duties and think of him. Yes. And if you absorb your mind and intelligence in me, you will definitely attain me. But of course, this is not so easy. And therefore he says, abhyasa yoga yuktana cetasa nanya gamina paramam purusham divyam yati partana chintayan. Therefore, you should train your consciousness. Abhyasa yoga yuktana. That means abhyasa yoga means training of consciousness, like we train sports or like we train some instrument. Constant practice, constant practice, constant practice. And in 12th chapter, Krishna also explains, Mayeva manadatsva mayi buddhi niveshaya, niveshisyasvi mayeva ata urvama samshaya. That you should always engage your mind and consciousness in me, and you will attain me without doubt. But atachetam samadatum nashaknoshi maistiram. If you cannot so deeply absorb your mind, abhyasa yoga natato mami chaptum dhananjaya, then devote yourself to abhyasa yoga, to sadhana bhakti, to training of consciousness. And by this training of consciousness, you will attain the desire to attain me. Yes. So therefore, it's so important to train our consciousness, constantly train our consciousness. So our sadhana is our savior. There is no miracle that will save us. Our sadhana will save us. Of course, our sadhana itself has no potency to save us. Krishna has the potency to save us. But sadhana connects our consciousness to Krishna. Of course, if it's some substance in our sadhana, if it's don't do it just mechanically. Therefore, we should avoid this mechanical type of sadhana. Yes. So, and then by this sadhana bhakti, by connecting with Krishna, because we know this sadhana bhakti is shito darpana marjanam, is cleaning our heart. Then we can understand, and with purified intelligence, we can understand this truth that Krishna is speaking here. And our words can become pleasing, can become beneficial. Otherwise, we'll be just conditioned. And we can know that this is wrong, theoretically, but when the situation comes, we if we are not purified enough, we just act as we always acted, isn't it? We are conditioned to act always in the same manner. Or maybe we try artificially to change our behavior, our external behavior, but internally we don't change. And so everyone knows that you just applied some technique to cheat them. This is felt. Have you felt in some cases from these professionals that they try to apply some technique on you? You noticed? Yes. And this disturbs you even more because you know they try to cheat me in some in some way or another. So we should get purified, and by this purification, then we can genuinely have some affection, have love for them, for other people, even if there are so-called enemies. Yes, because Bhakta is by nature Ajata Shatrava, is one who has no enemy. Even if others are enemies, he doesn't consider anyone as an enemy. Yes. And because of this, it is said here, Svadhyaya Bhyasana Cheva. So what has the study of Shastra do with this, with austerity of speech? Krishna says, and Prabhupada says here in purport, which is very important, that we should support our thoughts with Shastra. That we don't speak just what we think is good, what we think is beneficial, what we think is spiritual, but it should be based on Shastra. Maybe you know Bhakti Vishramba Madhava Maharaj. Have you know him? He was coming to Slovenia sometimes, 15 years ago or something. He has some physical problems now. I think he's not able to travel and preach anymore. But he was very interesting. For every statement anyone said, he asked, where is Sanskrit to prove it? Where is Sanskrit to prove it? And he quoted Shastra very much. But if something was just said like this from the sky, where is Sanskrit to prove it? So we should not be our own philosophers. Prabhupada is stressing this, that he's just repeating the words of his spiritual master and the words of Shastra. And here he explicitly says that we should support our words by Shastra. And in other place he said that devotees should be so well trained in Shastra as lawyers are trained in law. Because when lawyer is some attorney is defending someone in the court, he must know the law. And he quotes in this paragraph of this in this law, it is said like this and this and this. So our judgment in this case should be like this. And these are the cases from the past, similar cases, and this was like this and this and this. So And if the lawyer is like this, then he can influence the court, the judge. So we should be the same. In this shloka of Bhagavatam or Bhagavad-gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita is said like this and this and this. So therefore the conclusion, the Siddhanta is like this. Yes. And therefore we are not inventing anything. We are not adding or not subtracting anything. We just giving what Krishna gave and what pure devotees have given us. Yes. So therefore this Svadhyaya Shastric study is really important, because our speech can become purified by study of scriptures. Okay. Of course, much can be also said about this speech, even more. But we should know, we should always have this in mind, that our words should be beneficial for others. This is most important. Beneficial. And beneficial, we must know that this is connecting them somehow or other to Krishna. Yes. Beneficial. So if we don't, therefore this Vaishnava etiquette, so many topics are here are coming together here in this austerity of speech, because we communicate by speech. And Vaishnava etiquette comes also here in play. So we cannot instruct others who are senior to us. And the dealings between devotees, according to Vaishnava etiquette, is the true application of this verse also. So yes, it's extremely important, these 3 verses of our austerity, because by this austerity we can get beyond this false ego. Our false ego is extremely deeply rooted, and because of this false ego we have different upadis. I'm this, I'm that. I'm man, I'm a woman, I'm senior, I'm junior, I'm father, mother, or temple president, or floor sweeper. But these are just upadis. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvina nirmalam. Hrishikina hrishikisha sivanam bhakti urchyate. So bhakti is to get rid of these upadis, that we don't identify with them anymore. We're just servants of Krishna and nothing else. Just servants of Krishna. We should understand this. This is most important understanding. If we miss in this, we miss everything. Yes. So our words should be beneficial. Of course, truthful, because only truth is beneficial, but not disturbing. Not disturbing. Yes, and of course, cannot be beneficial if they are not based on absolute knowledge. Never. Relative words, that means Maya is not the solution for Maya. Maya is not the solution for Maya. You should know this. So sometimes one may think I'm very considerate, and he tries to please others by giving them more Maya or little less than they are already in Maya. But this is not beneficial. Truth is beneficial, but applied with wisdom, that one can digest properly and be benefited by it. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanandi. Please accept.